Greetings and welcome into the Whatcom Preps podcast. This is episode 119. It's a special coaches edition. I'm Ryland Spencer. Along with me, as always, Tyler Anderson of Whatcom Preps. Tyler, how are we doing?
Doing pretty good. It's awesome to talk football again and to bring in someone that we're really excited to talk about. And this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, a little different than normal. Usually we've got a lot of background to talk about here. And basically, I'm just going to say this. We have the new head coach of the Bellingham Bayhawks, a University of Puget Sound legend. It is Adam Leonard. Coach, how are we doing?
Doing great today. Thanks for having me, Ryland and Tyler. Thank you so much. Great to be here.
So I probably know a lot more about D3 football than most people. How the heck does a guy from Las Vegas end up, well, and actually it would have been NAIA, would it?
Yeah, and honestly, to tell you the truth, this is kind of the big secret. I was a two-sport athlete at the University of Puget Sound, the NAIA days, but I was not a football player. It was basketball and baseball. Football, actually, my background is heavy in coaching in football, and that is kind of where my avenue led me to this position here.
So it's funny you say that because I was doing a little research trying to figure out who this guy is, and I came across a little storyline about maybe you taking an L at the University of Washington in an interesting matchup. I mean, nowadays I don't think the Huskies would play like a UPS, but what kind of a baseball player were you? It said that you were a pitcher. It said you took the L that day, so I don't want to go too crazy about it. But what are we talking here? Mid high 80s, low 90s? What? Who is your Major League Baseball comparison pitcher?
Oh, my favorite pitcher of all time is going to be the big unit. It's going to be Randy Johnson because I'm 6'7", obviously not as big as tall as Randy was at 6'10", but I actually pitched against the University of Washington 3 times in my collegiate career. Back in the NAIA days, including in basketball, we played teams. We played Division I teams, Division II teams, current Division III teams, NAIA teams. So we were all over the map. So in terms of our competition. But yeah, I pitched against on my career, I'm 0-3 against the University of Washington. The one you looked up, I think they were number 12 in the country at the time. Yeah. I pitched against them. They were a top 25 team. But I was a fastball curveball guy, low 90s in college. So that's why I ended up stopping at the Division III level. So. Everybody seems to throw in the high 90s right now, so that's where my career ended.
Well, now tell me that. Did you get a hit also, or was it only pitching?
I was mostly a PO, so
okay.
I did hit a few times in some games against some lesser competition, but mostly my specialty was my freshman and sophomore year. I did start. I got moved to the bullpen. Some other guys came in, so I bounced around between bullpen and starter. But yeah, I believe that was my sophomore year of college.
I mean, big guy. I'd be thinking maybe hit some dingers out there, huh? Hey, one of the things it says right now, you are the director of recreation services at Western Washington University. Now, basically, in preparation for this show, Tyler and I had no idea what that meant. So we decided we're just going to ask you, what the heck is the director of recreation services?
Well, the Director of Rec Services at Western is a position that's administrative oversight of the Recreation Center, the Wade King Student Recreation Center on campus. And I'm also in charge of all the outdoor athletic facilities in terms of managing the space there, reserving space, things like that. Work closely with Steve Carr, the Director of Athletics at Western Washington University. Steve's a good friend of mine, and I worked in a dual role many years ago, assisting him in the athletic department. So I've been on campus for about 16 years. So basically student affairs and just managing this great facility. I'm actually in my office right now, so I can actually have a little time to talk with you both without my kids screaming in the background. So this is great.
Now, here's a little secret. I don't even know if Tyler knows this one about me. I actually won the 2001 lineman dodgeball competition at the Western Washington football camp. When Westerns had football, we would go up there for our football camp in, I think it was like early July. I remember it was always brutally hot. And they would throw all the linemen into the gym and we'd play some dodgeball. There was one man left standing and it was me. It was good. It's maybe my biggest claim to fame. It's up there. I mean, I know that. Tyler, you got anything for Coach? What do we got here?
Yeah, I mean, Coach, we got to get to know each other a little bit a few weeks ago, talking on the phone, and it's really exciting because it's for what I do. I never, I never know how to introduce myself. So I was glad to know that you have a son that plays at Squalicum. So you had followed what we do. So this is really, really cool. But, going to Bellingham, it's kind of like a clean slate because you've coached a lot of these kids at the youth level. Is there some excitement about just kind of like how you've seen these guys grow and what you're looking forward to with this season?
Absolutely. This is a position I've been looking forward to for such a long time and getting back. I hadn't coached at the high school level since I was an athletic director back in Los Angeles when I was a positions coach as a quarterbacks coach in a smaller school in the San Fernando Valley in LA. But watching these kids for the last, oh my goodness, 6, 7, 8 years grow. I mean, I love, part of me would love to have just one big 4A school with all these one feeder program and call it Bellingham School District football. But I love having all 3 city schools here. So kids have a great opportunity to play just a phenomenal game. But this opportunity came open. I discussed it with my family. Big discussion with my son too, who I knew was going to stay at Squalicum. That's where his heart and his passion is, and he's played there a couple seasons. But it was for me to really, get an opportunity to take it to that next level again and get back into high school. And it's something I've been looking forward to for a long time. Even though I was a 2-sport collegiate athlete in basketball and baseball, it was my passion and coaching all led me down to football. It's one of the things I enjoy most in my life, in terms of work, in terms of what I like to do. And I still am involved in the youth program. Can't be involved with those middle school kids anymore, but I'm definitely involved with the elementary school kids. I have an elementary school quarterback playing right now. I love coaching him. And it's just great to see those kids mature and develop. And now every time I turn you guys on or I turn the radio on, I hear names of kids I've coached in every sport, and especially football. So it's just an awesome feeling. A little bit different being at the spring jamboree and then at camp looking across and seeing all the kids I coached, for the last 8 years. But I think I spoke to you about this on the phone, Tyler. You name a player across even in the county. I've either seen him on a basketball court, baseball field, or especially a football field. So I'm a great scouting report for anybody who wants to know about what's lining up across from us on the field. So. But this is an opportunity I've been looking forward to a long time. We've got a fantastic coaching staff over at Bellingham that I'm working with, some returning guys, and just so excited. And I think the number one thing is to change a culture that has gotten a little down over with the Bayhawks. I know we have a new mascot, we have a new image, and I really was excited to hear how highly you spoke of us at the spring jamboree, and also the assistant coaches I was with came up to me after that and said, I have not seen this much excitement about Bellingham football in a long time. And I guess a long time might be a couple of years, but it's still something to get excited about. And I always thought, high school football, I believe, is the flagship of all high school sports. I'm going to be a little biased there and say that. And it's how you start your year off with school and how you get things going. And I'm just really excited to be able to lead a fantastic group of coaches. And just, we have quite a bit of seniors too. And a lot of expectations for this seat. I know we're playing independent schedule. And that's why I decided to go out in the both spring jamboree and camp, going against the big 2As and what I believe is the most powerful 2A conference in the state. And if we were out there swinging with those guys, I told our team that I think we can swing with anybody that we're going to play on our schedule. So it gives the kids some confidence, some motivation, and I think our numbers are going to be a lot better than we've seen in years past. So these are all things about that growth. It's not an overnight process, but we definitely have a plan to. I don't want to say make Bayhawk football relevant again, but our bar is pretty high. We know what we want to do in the next few years and grow the program, and we're excited about it.
You mentioned coaches a few different times. Are there any coaches on your staff that we would know? Any names from around the county or anything?
Well, head wrestling coach Cam Brearley is going to work with our defense this year. He'll be our defensive coordinator for our varsity team. Cam's a fantastic coach. He's a fantastic recruiter, unbelievable person. He brings a lot of energy and excitement. I feel like I'm the old man in the group over there, and then I'm in my 40s, and it's just when I start thinking about some of the younger guys that I'm surrounded by. We have some other coaches there that are on campus too. That's the thing is about being on campus. Now you're that recruiter. when you're seeing, these, 6'6" kids walking down the hallway, and you're like, why aren't you playing football? Why, what, let's get involved. Let's get out there. That's the one thing that I think I'm missing not being on Bellingham's campus, but having a couple of those guys too on our staff is important for that recruitment piece to get kids excited about it.
Yeah, it's funny. You mentioned when you say recruiting, people instantly go, "Oh, they're going to try to get kids from this school and this school."
I meant at Bellingham, of course.
Yes, no,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. When I talk to coaches around the state, and they had some of the the bigger, a Bothell who's always in the state championship picture, and I ask them though, like, hey, what is like maybe one of the biggest keys to having a solid program? They talk about being able to recruit your own hallways. You have to be able to recruit your own hallways, and that was I was going to ask you that question at some point, was the idea of, hey, since you're not in building, how does that work? Because you have to be able to do that. And so it sounds like you got a couple of guys that are in building, which is huge, obviously. And I mean, that's pretty exciting. As a guy who grew up wrestling, I like hearing that a wrestling coach is getting in there, getting his hands dirty as well.
Absolutely. We have two wrestling coaches on staff now, Cam Burley and John Cavalier, who, I think all of our offensive line, defensive line are also wrestlers too. Usually I'm in the world where basketball players are playing football. Now we have a lot of wrestlers playing football. So I love that, having that. Having a couple of guys. We have a Mark Wright, one of our assistant basketball coaches, is also going to be working with our defensive backs and wide receivers, probably at the sub-varsity level. Having Mark, who's also a longstanding teacher at Bellingham High School, is going to be great in terms of that recruitment and retention process, and knowing the inside and out of what's going on campus. That's a piece that I was worried about. So it's been very important to build a staff with an internal person there, since I'm over here on campus at the university, and I'm only there a few hours a day when it comes to, we're currently doing weight training and conditioning right now, which is giving me an opportunity to work on campus. But it's going to be great when we're going back full time next week.
You mentioned, Coach, an independent schedule, only 2 games against teams from Whatcom County. I know that breaks Tyler's heart for a couple of reasons. He loves those crossover games, but he also loves not having to watch extra games. And so this is when you guys play Blaine, when you play Meridian, that's 2 birds with 1 stone, basically. I mean, let's just start it off. Your first 2 games are on the road. One down in downtown Seattle against Cleveland. I would assume that game's going to be at Seattle Memorial Stadium. And then Meadowdale, which is at Edmonds District State Stadium. 2 very big, kind of imposing stadiums, if you will. You got to go on the road. What do you know about Cleveland, Meadowdale, Granite Falls? Do you know much about these teams, or is this maybe more about Bellingham than it is about the opponent?
I would say it's what I know about ourselves. You're right. What I know about our Bellingham team. I know that looking at both Meadowdale and Cleveland last year, their records don't speak too highly of their season. However, I will wash that away and realize that everybody's regrouped, and I believe that we are currently not reflective of what our record was last year, 2-7. I believe we're going to go in this with a lot more optimism, a lot more opportunity. I feel like we've already ahead where we were last year because of the work we did both in the spring and the summer, getting us prepared for this coming season. I don't know much. I know about us. I know that I won't give too much away about my plan, but I've coached the youth level. I'm going to coach the high school level based on our personnel a little different than I've coached the youth level in terms of how we're going to try to win football games. And that is going to be, I'll keep that secret a little bit tucked away in my back pocket. But I think we have a plan of how we are going to stay competitive in these games. But I don't know too much about our first two opponents. Obviously, I know a lot about Blaine and Meridian. Obviously being in camp with Meridian just recently, but this is going to be some unknowns, but it's more about who we are going into that game. And if we are who I think we are, I feel we'll be fine lining up against those 2 opponents.
I don't need to know much about the offense, Coach. Just tell me, are you going to run power? That's what I need to know. I have to get a yes out of you here.
Oh, I can't give you a yes on that because I'm going to run the spread.
Hey, you can run power. You can run power out of the spread.
You definitely can. Absolutely. Yeah. But we will see.
Yeah. We'll see. So, Coach, you were talking about how you have some seniors and some guys that you coached. When I look at the roster, I see some names that have some decent varsity experience. You talk about any high school team that's returning its quarterback as a huge bonus, especially early in the year. Max Rassett, not the biggest guy in the world, is not going to blow you away, but it seems like he's a guy that's played quarterback a long time. He threw for almost 1,000 yards last year, threw for 6 touchdowns, also ran in a couple of touchdowns. What do you like about him? And I think you coached him, when he was a little guy too. So what do you like about his game so far?
Well, the one thing, it's funny you mentioned that comment that he's coming in with a year of varsity experience under his belt. When I look around at the other schools in Whatcom County, there are a lot of new quarterbacks.
There, yeah.
Squalicum being one, of Seaholm possibly being another one with the split time that Nev had with Samuel last year. So there are a lot of new Meridian with Fife, I'm assuming.
Yep.
A lot of new names out there. And I always tell my son this too. When we're sitting at the dinner table and said, "Hey, my quarterback's got a year experience under his belt playing varsity." So it's these conversations, these home conversations, and Max does have that, and that lends to his leadership and his ability to be in the situation. Some guys coming out there, if they play some varsity games, are coming to their first year being a consistent start at the varsity level. It's a tough transition. And it's a little, the lights are on. It's a little bit different experience playing in that situation. And Max has been there. So that's one thing he has going for him. I've coached also Max, and I've known him since he was a youth player in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. And he has played the position pretty much, since then. You see so many different guys that come into the quarterback role who are kind of like, okay, we're going to try to make you a quarterback. We're going to try to, put you in this role that you've never done before. Max has done it for many, many years. So he has that already. It's something that you just, you can't, turn on and off or try to develop in, let's see here, 3 weeks before we open up. It's something that takes some time. And I think that's where we're a little bit ahead of the game. We have a senior leader in Max Rassett who has been in that role before. And that is a good thing for a first year coach like myself to have. That's a great thing to come into and have that kind of leadership and that kind of experience. So I feel like that gives us a leg up on a lot of other teams that are maybe coming in with the unknown. So we know what Max can do. We know what some of his limitations are. We know what his strengths are, and we're willing to, we're ready to work with him and develop those and give us the best opportunity out there.
Yeah, and at the running back spot, Logan Steves got some good carries. I know he got banged up a little bit, came back at the end of the year. Liam Polton Claypool is a guy we've been talking about. I know Ryland and I have been talking. We call him the law firm. We've been talking about him forever on this podcast.
I think he's about a decade, right?
It seems like it. Yeah, he just played a lot of.
He's finally a senior, right?
Yeah, he's finally a senior. I think I had to remind you that he wasn't a senior last year. But he's been strictly a defensive guy. But he's a guy that could be that running back spot too. And then there's a sophomore, Tyler Frost, who's a 240-pound bruiser kind of running back. It seems like he kind of have a lot to choose from. Is that am I kind of hitting on the right names in a spot like that?
Those are the names that I would have talked about. I love Logan Steves, great leader, fantastic athlete, both sides of the ball. I like him outside linebacker. I like him in our backfield. Yeah. Liam is Liam's a character too. He keeps me on my toes at practice, but he's a tremendous athlete. He's really put together. I challenge some of these guys in the weight room, and he kind of backs down when he knows I got him in certain areas. But he's a very, very, very physical. And again, I mean, not the biggest D end, right? Now, obviously switching and playing both, safety and linebacker now, working D end. Mostly a defensive player, but I've always believed you got to put your best athletes on the field, your best playmakers on the field, and obviously he's going to be a part of that on both sides of the ball. Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned Tyler Frost. What a fantastic kid. And he is, I get in trouble sometimes when I compare him to DeAndre Dunmore, who I've coached since DeAndre was 5 years old, but very similar in size. Tyler actually might be a little bit taller, but very, 235, 240 pound running backs. Tyler just needs to play more football. I didn't realize this until I met him, and that's why I didn't know him, because he didn't play youth football. He just started playing, and he's just a tremendous athlete and a great kid. And he's someone, and he's what makes me very excited about Bellingham Bayhawk, because he's only going into a sophomore year, and I feel like he's going to get some great experience both on the offense and on the defensive side of the ball too. He is just a great athlete that this needs to. It's like telling a baseball, we just need to get you more bats. We need to get you 400 ABs, and you're going to get better. So it's we just need to get him more reps, because he's a big part of our Bayhawk future.
Yeah. Was that a Moneyball reference, Coach?
Might have been a Moneyball reference. One of my favorite.
Yeah.
I can't slide anything by you guys.
Hey, that's a great movie, honestly. Like that is, I think that's an underrated movie. I think your real hardcore baseball fans love it, but there's a lot of people out there that think it's kind of corny or whatever. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, that's a great movie. Like,
oh man, when I heard that was coming out, and I'm like, are you kidding? First of all, I love sports movies. I love true stories. And then I love statistics. So I was like, holy cow, this movie is going to blow me away.
Tyler is Jonah Hill.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that is my spot for sure. I wouldn't want to trade a guy away.
Yeah, Tyler, you would have a hard time telling Carlos Pena that he's been traded to the Tigers. You would have a really hard time doing
I would really struggle with that. That'd be really tough. And Coach, you're talking about running the spread. Obviously, you got to have receivers for that. And with these different running backs you have, I'm sure you have no problem splitting a guy out wide if you want to put your best 11 on the field. But guys like Lucas Cousins, Isaac Bates, Charlie Arceus, these guys all have varsity experience at the receiver spot. Is there more guys I'm not thinking about?
We have a sophomore coming in. Bly Henderson played some C-team ball last year. He's a very, very athletic young man who we see possibly coming out there and playing at the X or the Z. There's some guys that will surprise you that some young talent in there that we're gonna really try to develop. It's just that I feel like we're kind of a wait and see still to see who's really going to emerge here last minute. We're going to try some things out. Like I mentioned before, some of our senior leadership, and I was very impressed. Some people thought that Tyler Frost might come in and be our back, but Logan Steve is just it's just something how that senior leadership and that ability to you've been there before, and what I've heard too, and I don't know enough of the story last year, is that injuries kept him from having a complete season last year, and that is one of the reasons why I think that. And he is, I can't even begin to tell you how hungry he is for this season. He is ready. He knows it's his senior year. He knows he missed out on his junior year on a lot of that season, but he is ready. And I think he's going to be a big part of what we do on both sides of the ball. He looked out during our spring scrimmage, going against some of the 1s and 2s at Cedar Woolley. He looked outstanding playing outside linebacker. I was very impressed. And it's keeping him healthy and keeping the rest of some of these guys healthy. But we do have some young talent, some guys coming up. I feel like we have a great future. I mentioned the senior leadership, but I'm really excited about some of these guys coming up through the sophomore ranks, and I feel like you might see some of those guys on the field come first or second game of the season.
Well, I'll tell you what. Sorry, Ryland.
I was gonna jump into the linemen. You know me, I want to talk linemen, but what do you got?
I'll let you do that, but I'll tell you one thing about Logan Steves. I've known him since he was about, I don't know, a month old. And so he is my nephew, but the good thing for you is that there's no blood relation. So that's a bonus for you. So but that is one tough kid. I love that kid. And you're right about, I know that he wants to prove what he can do. And so personally, super excited to see what he's going to do. Just because I want to see him succeed, and I know he will. So soft spot in my heart for him, obviously, but that's really cool to hear that he's going to get his chance, and he's doing so well in the spring.
It's when Tyler first met him, they saw eye to eye. Hey, let's talk lineman, coach. And I would assume you guys are probably gonna have quite a few guys going both ways. I mean, there's very few teams in this state at any level that don't play both ways, especially in the trenches. You mentioned some wrestlers. One of the guys that we've kind of had our eye on over the years, Javen Livas, big kid. He's had some injury problems. First off, where's he at? But also, who are some of the other guys we need to know about, doing all the dirty work?
Well, I think Javen right now is a question mark on the season too, based on some of his other commitments in life. And he's we've been talking about him since he was a freshman and coming in. Finn Jensen, coming in, great. Both ways, a kid that's going to really make an impact. Work them out. We have some younger guys that are going to be coming in. We're pretty young on the offensive and defensive line again, but I think it's something that I feel very comfortable. I will say I was not comfortable during camp though, when about half my offensive line was either on vacation or working or doing other things that during that particular week. And it's really not their fault. The last couple seasons, they had not been in that camp. So it was a little bit surprised last minute that Coach Leonard's going to put, hey, we're going to be in camp and we're going to be swinging it with Squalicum and Cedro and Burlington and Meridian. And people are like, what's going on? Football doesn't start until August. Well, for Coach Leonard, it starts in the spring and it starts in the summer, and we get going then. So there were guys that were playing, that were out there on our varsity line that were playing middle school ball a couple months ago. So we had to put them out there against some of the guys down in Burlington and Squalicum, and that was an eye opener. That was, hey, welcome to high school football quick. And they did pretty well, but we do have a younger offensive line, and I'm excited about what they can do, and I'm also excited about our future with them.
Yeah, you mentioned Finnegan Jensen. I forgot about him. He's going to be a talent. I mean, I think I saw him last year as a freshman at about 6'2", 285, and could move. Really excited about his future. When I saw him and Tyler Frost both as freshmen last year, I thought, oh boy, these are two guys that they could really pin a lot on in the future. So that's really, really cool.
You mentioned, wait, did you call him Finn?
Yeah, Coach did, yeah.
Okay, so we have a Finn and we have an O'Malley, but we don't have a Finn O'Malley. Right. He graduated, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Whatcom County's got all kinds of crazy stuff like that going on.
That was a little confusing. That's on me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, because I was gonna say I heard an O'Malley and I was like, whoa. So my brain started adding numbers up, and next I'm sitting here going, what, we got a Finn and an O'Malley, but no Finn O'Malley. Like, that is wild, unbelievable. Coach, when you start looking at the defensive side of the ball a little bit more, obviously, like we mentioned, a lot of those guys will probably go both ways. Linebackers, who are we looking at in the linebackers? And they've had some really good ones at Bellingham over the years. And is there one maybe guy that we can look at this year and go, that's the guy? Or is this a collective team thing that you're going to want out of your linebackers?
I think we have guys that are they're going to stand out. They're going to make plays. They're going to you're going to hear a lot on the radio. In terms of making a lot of tackles, and one of them I already mentioned is Logan Steeves. Logan's going to be a big. I do like what Tyler Frost can bring us at the middle linebacker position. I feel like that position again. I always compare him too many times to DeAndre Dunmore, what he does over at Squalicum, but they're very similar and what they do and they bring. I mean, DeAndre's an unbelievable talent, one of the most talented kids I've coached, and I also like too. Alex Wells, what Alex Wells can do. Alex used to be over at Squalicum, and now he's over at Bellingham, and I like what he can bring as well. So that core right there, and then obviously having Liam coming off the edge. I mean, I feel like that is our strength this year. Is our defense, and I am very excited about our linebacking core.
You mentioned Liam. It's weird because as a sophomore, he was playing safety, like you mentioned last year as an outside linebacker. This year as defensive end. I noticed that at Civic at the scrimmage. Because he stands out, and I saw him with his hand in the turf, and I'm thinking, is he playing defensive end? The funny thing is, his sophomore year, the final game, coach put him at nose tackle just because they just needed someone just to cause some havoc in there, and he's a guy that, even though he's, like you said, undersized for a defensive end, he can control that one side of the field to maybe you can, direct the offense the other way, or he's going to make plays. He's not going to let anyone get outside of him, and no one's going to be as charged up as he will on the field.
No, he's very disruptive on the field. He will make plays. It's about getting him. That's why I want to get him the ball too on offense. And some of my assistant coaches are like, well, he's a defensive player. He's always been a defensive guy. I said, he's going to make plays. And I know how disruptive and how effective he can be on the defensive side of the ball. But I also see the fact that he is so athletic that we can definitely use him in certain roles on the offense. So it's we're going to have a lot of our seniors playing on both sides of the ball. And I'm just waiting for these other guys also to get a little more experience and emerge, because I think it's going to make us more of a complete team.
What about the secondary, Coach? What do you, Tyler's got a couple of guys listed here. It's actually a couple of guys we've kind of already talked about at this point. Is there anybody else maybe in the secondary that we haven't talked about yet? Is there anybody back on that end that people need to know about?
Well, we have Isaac Bates. He's a senior. He'll be out there at corner. We also have Bly Henderson. He's a new guy. He was a freshman last year on the C team. He's just I believe if I have it right, he's a former lacrosse player trying football out, just getting these great athletes out there to play. And it's secondary is going to, except for Isaac, for Bates, it's going to be pretty young, but again, very athletic guys. And I really feel good about, I feel really strong about our defense. I always tell every level I've coached that offense comes a little bit after defense. Defense is usually on top of it right there, and offense catches up. But I feel like that's where we were too in terms of what we did at the Jamboree and in camp. Defense, I thought, was holding their own, looking pretty strong, and our offense is coming along a little bit. Tough at camp when we're probably missing 80% of our offensive line due to just not being available for that particular week. But our young guys stepped up and got hit in the mouth a little bit, but they shook it off, and I think they're ready. They kind of motivated them this summer in the weight room and ready to get after it in the fall.
Yeah, I like seeing Liam probably going to be kicking for you too. He did some kicking last year. I was at the Meridian game at Meridian, and he lined up for a 40-yard field goal that he was wide left. So he definitely can kick the ball a little bit for you. And, you know, you get those close games, and a kicker could be huge for you. So I would imagine that's going to help a little bit too.
He tells me he's automatic with that, so I'll have to talk to him a little bit more about that.
Automatic from how far?
I don't know, 40 apparently.
I mean, Tyler, how far would it have been good from?
It would have probably been good from 45. He was just wide left. That's all. I mean, he's got the leg. Yeah. He's you know the perfect, because coach, I kicked in high school, and one of my favorite drills is kicking from the pylon. Because distance that'll come with but you get that accuracy down, and if you can make field goals from the pylon, you got your accuracy down. So but yeah, I'm super excited about Bellingham, and now I have a girlfriend that graduated from Bellingham, so I gotta be rooting for those Bayhawks. So
well, I'm gonna have to get you both some Bayhawk gear. Apparently I need to find Ryland an old Bellingham helmet is what I've been told I need to do.
I've got a hey.
You have one?
It does it. No, I've got a Seahome one. I don't care too much about the helmet itself. Well, it's about the bar. Gotta have the bar down the middle. Gotta have the bar down the middle. You see, I don't know where he's at here. Joe Nash is here somewhere.
Yeah.
He's up here behind me somewhere. Joe Nash, that bar down the middle and the gut. Like, I mean, I should just wear that Seahome helmet at all times. I really should on these podcasts from now on. I should just put that on. I love the bar down the middle so much. I mean, there's 3 of them going in the Hall of Fame last weekend. 3 guys that wore bar down face masks going in the Hall of Fame. What a great weekend for the Hall of Fame. I mean, there hasn't been a better weekend for the Hall of Fame since like Dick Butkus.
Well, now I'm on a mission to get one for you.
Hey, you know what? They all have, 10 year? I think you can only use them for 10 years. So every year it seems like there's got to be some schools with helmets that are drying up.
We did during gear handout. I came across quite a bit that really just kind of looked a little funny at. I'm like, I should put it aside and go through them again and see if I can find something for you.
Well, if they have the single bar across, I'll take that one.
I'll give you the single bar, the Waterboy one.
Yeah, the Waterboy one.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Tyler, who's the kicker you like? Is it Morton Anderson? Is that your guy?
Yeah, he's my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, Morton Anderson's his guy, and then he loves
players.
who was the punter that we talked about a lot that one night?
Reggie Roby?
Reggie Roby. Yeah, we went on like a 15-minute talk about Reggie Roby one night for some stupid reason.
Yeah.
I don't know what we were doing that night. Coach, I don't know if you know this, but I also dabble in some I love burgers. What's the best burger spot? Don't give me Boomers. I love Boomers. Don't give me Boomers though. Give me something else. What's a spot up there maybe that I don't know about yet that you could give me? Because you've lived up there long enough, you should know.
I should know. I will say I am spoiled being from Las Vegas, and obviously I'm going to go see In-N-Out Burger being from Las Vegas. I
do like In-N-Out. Tyler, here's the thing. Tyler loves In-N-Out. Like, he lives for it. Yeah. I like it. I think it's a solid burger. Is it my favorite? Honestly, I would rather have what's that spot, Tyler? Underground Burger up in Linden. I think that's a phenomenal burger. And I heard recently that that Eagles Roost and Ferndale closed down for good. Rest in peace. Just heartbreaking. Boomers is solid though, right? I mean, Boomers is with those waffle fries, man.
I think why Boomers gets the nod is because of their, their support item, their waffle fries, their size. And that's why. I mean, all my friends that are from the Midwest that talk about In-N-Out tell me McDonald's is better than In-N-Out.
Oh, no.
Whoa. But are we talking fries or the burger?
The burger. We're not talking fries. Let's not
wait. And where are these people from? Because they need to like, I want to be nice, so I don't think I should say anything. But
yeah, I was just back in Vegas for my middle son's basketball tournament at the convention center, and obviously I have to go to In-N-Out every time I say at home. This is home now for me, but at home. But I'm gonna have to say Boomers. It's I know it seems like an easy pick, and it's just going with the low hanging fruit. But
you know what though? It's like $8 and you get a burger, fries, and a waffle fries and like a soda or something. Like, I'm sorry, that's like one of the best deals in the state. I don't think it's the best burger in Whatcom County, but for $8, I mean, you can't go wrong. Like that's a steal. Now, down in Vegas, there's obviously a lot of great food down there. I could name off steaks at different places for about an hour here. But since you mentioned In-N-Out, I got to go fast food here. Have you had Raising Cane's?
Yes, absolutely.
That place is unbelievably good. Their chicken fingers and their Texas toast. Oh my
goodness. I mean, honestly, there's a better burger down in Vegas too if you go to Smash Burger.
Yes. They have one down in do you guys, how far south do you guys go this year? Do you guys, let's see. Cleveland, Meadowdale. Dang, you guys don't go far enough south. There's actually a Smash Burger, one of those real places down in it's down by La Center. There's I can't remember the name of the casino. There's some new huge, huge casino down there, and they have a Smash Burger. And I went there and tried it, and it was pretty dang good. it was pretty dang good. Not gonna lie. It was maybe a little overcooked, but like when you're eating a burger at a casino, you can't expect it to be the exact same as what you would get in like a normal restaurant from the same place. Right. That being said, in Vegas, the one place I will never eat a burger again is White Castle. Oh my goodness. That place is absolutely awful. As a burger guy, I just have to say it. Like, I mean, it was so bad. I couldn't believe it. Now, speaking of Vegas really quickly, if you had one meal and you can't go In-N-Out, I mean, myself, anytime I go to Vegas, I'm going to Lowry's at some point because their prime rib is unstinking believable. But what do you got? Give me something.
It's a great question. And honestly, I think I gave my mother the best compliment ever on a Christmas Eve dinner when I said that her prime rib was better than Lowry's.
Yeah.
Which it was.
That's saying something.
Yeah, it was amazing. Oh, that's such a, you know what? I will have to say this, and it's nothing fancy. It's pretty simple. I ate down there when I was in Vegas about a month ago. I have to go to Roberto's Taco Shop. They have them all over Vegas. It's one of the best. And
Roberto's Taco Shop.
Yeah, it's they started out now. I have a chain of them. It is fantastic. It is.
Tyler, write that one down.
Yeah. My family, my mother and father will go there over any nice Mexican restaurant because the food's better. It's just it's takeout. They're open. It's Vegas, so it's open They're all open 24 hours a day. So if you're feeling like it at 3 a.m,
I would be, yeah.
And the one thing is, I love to eat. It's one thing that I also enjoy doing. But it's the best. I have to go down there. I wasn't even hungry that night, and I said, you know what? I told my wife we're going to pick some of this up for the family. Took it over to my sister's, and it was a great night of eating. So. And
it was gone within a couple of minutes. Tyler, wanted to ask you, and this is something that I actually meant to ask earlier, Coach. How tall are you?
6'7". I think I was programmed for basketball at 6'8", but a little bit over 6'7".
Well, I think we've talked about that before. When I was I'm on my best day, I'm 5'10" and a half, and I think last year of high school football, I want to say I was listed at like 6'3", like 310. I was neither, not even close. Like I'm like 5'10" and a half, and I was probably like 260, 265. I was always, I always weighed enough that I felt good about it, but not enough that I couldn't cut enough weight to get down to 215 for wrestling if needed.
There you go.
and it would take me a little bit. It'd take me. Yeah, I mean, I might have to get into December, pretty deep into December to get down to the weight, but I was going to get there eventually, and it couldn't do it at 300. That's for damn sure. Like there was no way I was getting down there. Tyler, you got anything else?
I don't want to mention my height and weight when I was playing, but I did ask Coach
Probably
James.
Still the same.
Yeah, no, not the weight. But yeah, no, I think I was in the program at 5'5", 130. I don't even think I was close to that. I was probably around 118.
Tyler, you could play left tackle for Bob Ames.
Yeah, no kidding. I did ask him. I said, Coach, what would you list me at? And he goes, oh, you look about 5'10", 175, and with a straight face too. So he's the best. But no, I mean, this is really cool, and I'm glad that we get to do this with you, Coach. When I saw you out at the scrimmage, it was apparent who you were. We had never met before, but to see how you had control of your team, how they were all listening, they were all pumped up. It got me excited because growing up as a kid, I mean, Bellingham was the school. I mean, they were something. So to get them back to where they can be, like you said, it's not an overnight thing, but I'm excited about the way you have them steered, and it makes my job a lot better because it's a lot of fun when Bellingham is good. So I'm excited about this season. I'm excited to get to know you more a little bit too.
Well, I just want to thank you both again. It's so great to have you covering high school sports and especially football. And I know the work you do. I look forward. I mean, I get up, I get to the office early. I'm usually here by 6 a.m. And after I do my morning emails, I check to see if you've posted anything or what's, my dad will text me and say, hey, did they post anything new? Is there something I can watch? Is there something, he already watched Coach Blankovich's whole podcast. He's like, and he goes, I heard you're going to be on there. I go, yeah, I think I'm going to be on. Probably won't be as exciting as Coach Blankovich, but yeah, it's great what you do. I know the players enjoy it. I know even the players that are in high school yet, they're excited about, hearing their name and getting interviewed by. It's a great thing you do for our community, and I can't thank you both enough for what you do. It's just fantastic. It really makes me really get excited and juiced up for this season, and I'm excited on the direction for Bayhawk football. I think we're bought in. We're excited about it. I think just the kids are pumped up. I can't wait till next Wednesday. It's going to be fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah. Wow. Next Wednesday. It's we're less than 10 days, huh?
Yeah. While recording this might post in a few days, but you're right. I mean, it's right around the corner. It is unbelievable. I've been in contact with all the coaches trying to figure out when I'm going to show up at practice. And it's just like, I mean, it's Christmas for me. I'm sure it feels the same way for you guys. The first game I ever called on the air was a Bellingham game, and I'll always remember that. And it's, I don't know, it's just an exciting time of the year, and I feel like it's been a while since there's been kind of like this non-COVID. I mean, COVID's still out there, but the worries are not as much. I look at the schedule and go, those are going to be the 10 teams you're going to play. I'm not so worried about teams canceling and stuff like that. So it's almost like it's been, 2.5, 3 years since things have been normal with high school football. And I know I probably speak for Ryland too, and we're just excited to have it happen again. So this is going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Tyler, you know what? I'm thinking about it. My first game as a member of the media in Whatcom County was Bellingham. Bellingham's Whatcom, and you can see me running around on the field trying to catch up with Luke Weber.
That's right. That's right.
Tried to make him player of the game, and I couldn't catch him.
Well, nobody could that day. But.
Yeah, nobody could. Yeah. Well, Coach, thanks. Obviously, thank you for your time. It's good to know that not only you listen, but your dad listens. That means we are up to Tyler. I think we're almost at double-digit listeners.
We've got to be really, really close. I mean, I think it's safe to say we're at double digits now.
Yeah. I mean, that's huge accomplishment on our part. I know we definitely have fun doing what we do. We know how to take things seriously when we need to, but I think more than anything, it's about, like you said, kids wanting to hear their names, things like that. I think when I was growing up, we had, 2 or 3 newspapers that covered our area. And anytime, I mean, they would write something about, Tyler, you wrote something recently about softball or something, girls softball, maybe, was it?
Mm-hmm.
like a little league team or something that
Well,
like
no, it's the 16U.
16U. Yeah. So like I think about it, like I remember they would put little league scores in our little newspapers, you know, and like we would see our names in there as the winning pitcher, and it was like the greatest thing of all time.
Yeah.
It was like it literally said WP Ryland Spencer. That was it. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever, you know. And so, you know, having the ability, you know, obviously having Tyler being, you know, knowing a little bit of almost every damn thing in the county is huge. And obviously I like to just sit here and toss him softballs and let him hit home runs, and we have a lot of fun doing it, but at the same time it takes, you know, everybody. So having you on and having, you know, getting a chance to talk to you tonight was a lot of fun, and I'm sure at some point our paths will cross, and I look forward to that day.
Absolutely. I'll be seeing you on the field very soon. I can't wait to talk in person. That would be great.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Tyler, who's our next interview? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, Coach Greg Terpstra at Linden Christian. And we'll have some stuff on him because he played high school at Linden Christian. So
yeah, Tyler's got a lot of stuff there, a lot of dirt that Coach Terpstra doesn't know about. So we'll dig into Coach Terpstra next time, and then after that we'll start having team previews and all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's coming quick, and we are going to go all kinds of nuts this year. So again, Coach, thank you for your time, and we will look forward to talking about the Bayhawks in the future.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.